Yes.
Okay. Good evening. Welcome to a meeting of the Council of the City of Long Beach. Oops. Held Tuesday, March 5th, 2024 at 7 p.m. We'll have a roll call. Councilmember Bendo.
Present.
Councilmember Lester.
Here.
Councilmember Reinhardt.
Here.
Councilmember Fiamora.
Here.
President Finn.
Present.
Let the record indicate the presence of City Manager Dan Creighton and Corporation Counsel Dennis Cohen. We'll now have a salute to the flag.
Can we have the Deputy City Manager Phil Ragona please lead us in the pledge? Thank you, Phil. Okay, welcome everyone. We have a light crowd tonight. Must be a boxing match going on somewhere else in town. We'll call for the city manager's report, please.
Bless you. So good evening. Some minor items to report first. The Long Island Village Clerks and Treasurers Association with our city clerk, Dave right here, is participating in the Island Harvest Food Drive. They're accepting donations, canned food, cereal, personal items, items of the like, through next Wednesday, the 13th, in the city clerk's office on the third floor. Earlier today, a proclamation was issued, declared March 10th through March 16th, National Flood Safety Awareness Week in the city of Long Beach. We're all keenly aware of this type of issue happening after Hurricane Sandy. But I do want to point out that our Public Works Department and Building Department have done a tremendous amount of work that has resulted in potential savings of 15% for our residents on their flood insurance bills. They continue to work in the coming weeks and months to provide additional information on this program to try to get the insurance companies to reduce flood insurance up to 20%. Thank you to all involved, specifically Joe Fabrizio and Scott Kemmons, saving our residents real money and making our community safer. Yesterday, I had the honor of swearing in a new career firefighter. Just today, along with two other firefighters, he shipped off to the 20-week training academy up in Westchester. While these three are off at training, we're working hard to get an additional 4 people vetted with an expectation to have them start the academy in the next class in the fall. Staffing levels remain tight, but while we're contending with overtime issues, we feel that we're making good progress to address that, and the light at the end of the tunnel is visible. In response to community concerns, we've made some improvements and adjustments at the city parking garage next to the Long Island Railroad Station. We'll be replacing the failing parking meters before the month is out and supplementing those with an app-based solution. The stairwells and walkover were repainted last week and will be power washed on a weekly basis. My Department of Public Works with our CSEA employees will ensure it remains clean, and our police department is doing directed patrols of the facility, ensuring their presence is felt as well, trying to make it much safer. Thanks to all those departments involved, truly a team effort. Lastly, before we go into a presentation, we continue to interview dozens of residents for our boards and commissions. We're still getting some applications. It's impressive to see how many passionate and talented residents we have that are willing to serve our community free of charge with the high pay of nothing. The goal continues to be have all the positions of the board and commissions filled as soon as possible and have them actively functioning and meeting at least on a monthly basis. So finally, there's a rally taking place on Sunday, March 10th on the boardwalk. mostly in respect to the RAPID Act. Because I'm not as familiar with all the details, although I've met with the state a few times already on it, I've asked the group that are really knowledgeable about it to give us a presentation to discuss if the community is more aware of what's included in this act. I have to mention this is not the city's official position, but I do want to make sure that people are well informed and have an idea of what is going to be presented and what the rally is all about. So at this time, I'd like to invite Christine Kramer up to give a short presentation on this act. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Hello? Okay. Sorry, what? Okay. This is a really abbreviated presentation. Typically, my presentation, a lot of you have been to already, it's around 2 to 2.5 hours, but I've asked to really abbreviate it down to 5 minutes, but I got it down to 10 minutes. So right away, I want to start and kind of speed through this. This PDF is on our group page. That QR right there is to protect our coast. You can find this PDF and lots of other information on turbines and the RAPID Act and everything that's going on with the offshore wind. Next. Who is Equinor? Equinor is a company from Norway owned by the government of Norway. Equinor is formerly known as Statoil. They changed their name in 2018. And they've partnered up with BP Oil to now take over the offshore wind industry. This is a slide on what the ocean will look like industrialized if all of the offshore wind leases get done, there will be 5,500 wind turbines in our ocean from Maine to Maryland. Next. This slide is just a close-up of the Equinor project. That screen is really horrible, but the red tip there is Empire 1, and the yellow trapezoid is Empire 2. This consists of about 200 turbines, and it's about a quarter of the size of Nassau County and 30 times the size of Long Beach. The tip of the red triangle will be 14 miles from the coast of Long Beach. Next, this slide is just an illustration of Empire 1 taking their cable and going over to Brooklyn where they will make landfall, and then Empire 2 is looking to make landfall over here at Riverside Beach. Next, if all of those leases go into the ocean by 2030, it will look like the left slide, and by 2050, it will look like the slide on the right. Next, this is a close-up of what the interconnection cables will look like by 2050 if all of those leases go in. This is an illustration of what a high-voltage cable will look like. It's enwrapped in a core, and it's primarily made out of copper. And if they get their way, there will be tens of thousands of miles of this cable buried beneath our ocean. The size, next. The size of the cable is what Tim Kramer's holding there, and there will be 2 of those coming into Riverside Beach, and then being buried only 36 inches beneath the surface of our streets. That's a total of 690,000 volts of electricity. These are the types of trucks, next. These are the types of trucks that they'll be using. They'll be using plowing trucks, jetting trucks, trenching, cutting, hopper, and dredging trucks, and these are probably some of the small ones. And also the construction will go on from 2 to 4 or 5 years. This illustration is the 2 cables that would come in on Riverside Boulevard. Next. And this is an example of what the cable will look like. This is an interior section. It will have 3 cores, 2 of these, again, for 690,000 volts of EMFs. Why do I keep talking about EMFs? Because they're dangerous, and we'll talk about those in a second. Next. And this will be an overhead of what Riverside Beach will look like if they get their way and they start building on our community and make interconnection here in Long Beach. This is not Long Beach. This is another area. This next. This is a map of the cable that they'd like to bring in on the bottom there. So you're going to follow the purple line there. It's going to come in on Riverside Boulevard, go east on East Broadway, go north on Lincoln Boulevard, and then east again on East Harrison, and then cross over Reynolds Channel, and then head into Island Park. Next. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that this is our community. We live here on Long Island. This is a very densely populated area. We've been to the meetings with Equinor, and we've asked them about the safety. Equinor admits that they've never done this before in a densely populated area such as ours. There is no safety testing been done, and they will monitor us after the fact. So this is East Broadway, where this line will travel, and you can see the red line there is where the cable is looking to be buried. And again, an overhead of our community, and then just to show you up Lincoln, it would be in that grassy area and close to all the homes. So just to remind you, there'll be 690,000 volts of electricity right across from residential homes. That's my home right there. So I'm just curious if I could sit on my porch anymore without receiving EMFs. So EMFs are everywhere. They are measured in a term called milligauss, okay? Everybody lives everybody has 2 or 3 milligauss around them, whether it's from your iPhone or your toaster oven or your microwave. But and we asked them at the New York State Public Service hearing, if you're standing in the street where the cars are, how many milligauss will you be receiving, just standing there? And they said 50 to 80 milligauss, okay? Now, EMF, electromagnetic radiation, is cumulative. So if you get a little today and you get a little tomorrow, it builds up in your body. And statistically significant studies have shown that even an increase of 1 milligauss will double your chances of getting cancer, and it's particularly sensitive to children and fetuses. So we're going to be receiving 50 to 80, but don't worry, because distance is your friend. The further away that you go from these wires, the less you'll be getting, but I still don't understand how much I would be getting from my porch or my house. And it's also going to be making a left up Lincoln, so you can get it on both sides. So let's talk about turbines. How big are the turbines? This little one with the circle, that's the exact size of the turbine we have in Point Lookout. It's 156 feet tall, and our turbines will be the size of the red one on the left there. That is 951 feet tall. There will be 200 of these directly off of our shore. Yes, you will see them, and yes, there will be blinking red and white lights all night for the rest of your life. So real estate agents who are selling unobstructed views will be held to account when this happens in 2 years if we don't get in the way of this. Also, we talk about turbines being clean and green, but turbines are, every part of a turbine is made, it depends on steel. And steel is made with 70% of coal. Coal is one of the things they're trying to get rid of. Another thing is that all of the precious metals within the turbine structure, they're made with precious metals, and those are mined with child and slave labor in the Congo, in Chile, and all other parts of the world. And by the way, when they strip mine these areas from all of their precious metals, those parts of the earth are useless for hundreds of years. So there's nothing green about the start of it. And this is just next. And this is just a fact sheet on the left of all the additional minerals that it takes to erect one of these turbines. The shot on the right is called a scour hole, and that's what happens when the water passes the turbine. It digs this giant hole. So in order to remedy that, next, They fill these holes with with thousands of pounds of carbon-emitting concrete. Okay, so on the left you can see that they pour 7,700 cubic yards of crushed rock and concrete. Each one of these turbines the size of a football field, and even if they are decommissioned, they will scar the ocean forever. This is just another oh, you're right with me, thank you. This is just another slide of other kinds of construction equipment that will be adorning our beaches, and that one on the right is what a monopile casing looks like. I just put it there for perspective with people. Each turbine will use thousands and thousands of gallons of fossil fuels, oils, dielectric fuel, diesel fuels, and the worst offender in this group is called sulfur hexafluoride. Sulfur hexafluoride is the worst carcinogen on this earth, and each turbine will use 243 pounds of it, and each substation on the right will use 6,600 pounds of sulfur hexafluoride. Also, these turbines are not quite efficient. They will only be putting out 100% capacity 40% of the time. We will start having brownouts and blackouts if we depend on only this source of energy. People have asked me, and I think I should have something in here, what is the solution? And the solution really is just, for me, in my opinion, this is just an opinion, this nuclear plant will do the job of 200 of the largest turbines. Now, I'm not saying everything needs to be nuclear, but I think we should have a larger portfolio. Some nuclear energy has come, you know, the technology has advanced light years, as Mr. Bendo could probably tell you. And there's other ways, there's other energies, there's hydro, there is still some fossil fuel, natural gas. We can use a large portfolio and should not solely be depending on wind turbines. Also, wind turbines cause what's called sediment flumes. Fish can't breathe in here, they can't breathe, they can't eat, they can't find their way. Detrimental to the ocean and the fishing industry. We are also putting these up in a known hurricane, in known hurricane paths. These turbine blades spin 200 miles an hour, and they are in the hurricane path, and they don't withstand anything above a Category 2. So wind is renewable, but turbines are not. This is a slide that shows what happens to turbine blades and other turbine parts when they're done. They go to landfills in Sweetwater, Texas, and all over the United States and other countries, and they sit there. And the turbine blades will then leach into the soil and start to contaminate the drinking water. So turbine blades are made with an epoxy resin, and the picture you see in the middle, that's called leading edge erosion, especially on the ocean. When the turbine blades are spinning, it starts to erode. These epoxies start to fall into the water. They carry what's called bisphenol A, and that is the most toxic substance we know to humans. Bisphenol A is an endocrine disruptor. So the bisphenol A will get into the water, it will get into the water that goes into the air and start contaminating drinking water. The fish will also eat these parts. We eat the fish. After we eat the fish, our stomach will break down those acids, and then it will release the bisphenol A into our system, and it will start to attack the host. We're the host. So in conclusion, 1 kilogram of bisphenol A will make 10 billion liters of water unusable. Not to mention when they start falling apart in the ocean, we'll be cleaning this up from our shores, and we'll probably have some limited swimming over here. That's just the fish eating the microplastics. And we all know that our Lloyd Aquifer is one of the only water sources here on Long Island. If that gets contaminated, and they know that water sources have been contaminated before, our community is in trouble just right along with the rest of Long Island. So what will we achieve with this? Next. So what will we achieve? As you can see, the numbers on next.
No, sorry.
Sorry, wrong way.
Which one?
Next one. There you go. No, one more. There you go. As you can see by the numbers, if we put all these turbines in the ocean, we would only achieve a 0.0003 improvement in temperature by 2050, and then 0.0007 by 2100, which means that erecting all of these turbines will have a net zero impact on climate change, as per Equinor's environmental impact statement. I just want to mention the fish, the marine life. Sound is critical to whales and their well-being. Whales are affected by the sonic graphing. They'll be affected when they start pile driving even more, and then they will be affected by the turbines turning in eternity for the next 10 or 20 years. All of this is terrible for the ocean, bad for the environment, bad for the ecosystems. Yeah, I'll just move on. Next, yeah, right there. It's also detrimental to our bird population. Other countries in Europe, Poland, have already seen a decrease in birds. And this slide on the right is the piping plover migratory pattern from Maryland to Maine. And you guys, we can't even put a beach blanket near a piping plover. Why are we putting turbines up there? So what protections are existing for the residents? We have something that's called Article 7, where a few of us and many of the community members have chipped in, and we've retained a lawyer to help us through this process. We're all the way here in the 2023 section, like the last circle there, and that's gone on for the last year or so. Our lawyer, Ben, has done a spectacular job. Our city council is now doing a great job, and we appreciate them. But Kathy Hochul wants to introduce what's called the RAPID Act. So this process lets us have some input and settle their settlement. They talk with the municipalities. There's phone calls. There's meetings. They don't want this because we are having an impact and they don't like it. So Equinor has put a halt on Empire 2. So that's why everybody thinks that it's a done deal and we're not getting this, but they're just regrouping. They're waiting to mature their project and put it back in. So, oh, sorry, next. So Kathy Hochul wants to put ORES, the Office of Renewable Energy Siting, wants to put ORES in charge of these projects. ORES is one person that approves all of the projects, yes or no. One person says yes or no. There's no meetings, there's no input from the public, there's no input from the municipalities. One person. And that one person has approved 99% of the projects that have been brought to the table, and the only one project was denied, and that was because of an ownership transfer. It's pretty much like a rubber stamping of these projects. Next. So the RAPID Act, it's not a standalone bill. Kathy Hochul has very gently placed it into a budget bill. And if the budget goes into effect, and it's not, it's going to go into effect if this budget is not amended or removed. The New Jersey version of this RAPID Act has already been implemented to circumvent local input and home rule of the beach parkland. Hochul wants to assist offshore wind to avert our rights and to achieve a zero net gain climate goal. So the RAPID Act will vastly reduce the municipal fast tracking. It will eliminate public involvement. It will disregard any settlement procedures. There will be no hearings, no hearings even if it's proposed by municipalities. ORES also will only have 18 months to promulgate these projects. There will be no emergency rules, and there'll be a much faster review process. It will be impossible to challenge ORES, and Equinor will be able to opt into this new, faster, streamlined process. So this is our opinion. We believe that Equinor is holding back until Hochul passes the RAPID Act, and they're going to slip that project right through and cut us out of everything. Next. So I just want to reiterate that we are having this rally called Stop the RAPID Act on Riverside Boulevard on March 10th. at 10 a.m. We have a rain date. It is March 24th at 12 p.m., and we will announce on Saturday if we're going to postpone because the weather is a little bit iffy. The Rapid Act technically has nothing to do with turbines. It's about the siting of the high voltage cables. The Rapid Act seeks to facilitate more efficient siting regardless of the environmental costs and the local opposition. It will exclude the citizens, and it will be used against every single community and municipality to push through these controversial projects. It will be sure to spill into other areas of governing. It's a very slippery slope and needs to be removed from the budget, and that's why we're having the rally. We need the support from our elected officials, federal, state, and local. This is why we're having the rally. We have collected over 12,500 petition signatures in opposition of the turbines and including the Rapid Act. So this is just the flyer. Please, if you can make it to the rally, we'd appreciate your support. Bring a sign, bring a friend. And if you haven't done so already, that is the QR to the petition, which can also be found on our site. Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Christina. I thought it was important that the people of Long Beach at least know about the Rapid Act and know about the idea that the possibility of these cables coming across at Riverside Beach. Hundreds of people attended the Article 7 hearing that took place in October. There was a daytime and an evening session, and they were both packed with Long Beach people and other people as well. So the fact that Article 7 may be scrapped, that's a good possibility, or at least it won't be used for this purpose, and that the Rapid Act will replace it with ORES. I thought everybody should know that, and those are not the views of the city government, but I thought it would be informative for everyone. So we'll continue with our program now. Thank you, Christina.
Question.
Okay. Yes.
Christina, is it your position that the Rapid Act would overcome the parkland alienation rights that we have? But the Rapid Act, as it reads right now, it doesn't...
The Rapid Act doesn't mention parkland specifically, but the Rapid Act is a procedure to expedite. So if Kathy Hochul says it's a climate emergency, it will give her rights, not just here, but all over the state to inflict or erect or take over land, including our beach park land. So you won't have any more control here.
No, but the way I see it, isn't park alienation part of the Constitution, New York State Constitution?
It certainly is.
So
I believe she's breaking
no
that.
No matter what she says, she can't override the Constitution.
Well, maybe she thinks she can, and maybe if we don't get in the way, she will. So let's get in the way.
I think there are a lot of other people that would get in the way if she tries to overrun the Constitution.
Well, New Jersey's already doing it. Murphy has done this and is overriding all the local ordinances. So it can be done. It is being done.
Okay.
All right.
I have one more question. So during the summer when this was actually quite a controversial topic, the subject of alienation came up, and I have to ask you, was it clear at that time that alienation was a foregone conclusion that we could do it, or that the government could actually take the land through an easement?
During the whole situation with the home rule and the alienation, we were already protected. Our beach park land was protected, so we didn't need to take home rule. It was already protected. If we took home rule, it gave our government the ability to negotiate or alienate to Equinor. Us as residents, we didn't want that. We wanted the original protections that we had naturally. Now she's changing, and we're being successful with that. Now she's changing the rules and saying, well, if it's an emergency, I can take your land anyway. And that might be the beach park land as well as our streets. It might give them passage right through our streets as well.
Thanks. One of the problems I thought that the council had last summer was that it wasn't clear about alienation. It wasn't clear about whether the government could actually come in and seize the I'll use the word seize because I think an easement isn't the right term. You could tell me, Roy.
Yeah, no, it became very clear that we needed to keep the parkland alienation rights we had, and that's why originally they were going to have it so that there was legislation allowing us to, take that as part of our decision-making process. And once we realized how powerful parkland alienation was, we said no. And that's the thing that kind of bothers me, because this is a constitutional right. And listen, I understand Christine's point about the Rapid Act and the, what is it, OEM?
ORES.
ORES. Yeah. But I think as long as we stand strong on the parkland alienation, as long as we stand strong, I think in that respect we're protected. This isn't a state that roughly goes over the Constitution. I don't know what happened in New Jersey, but I know in New York State, we protect that Constitution pretty carefully.
We'll see you Sunday then.
Hey, what?
We'll see you Sunday then.
I'll be in ring time.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. We'll move on with the program.
Okay, on to the regular calendar. Item 1 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to purchase 2 John Deere tractors, 2 John Deere loaders, and 2 John Deere gators under Sourcewell contracts.
Okay, so real quick, this is a resolution to replace the 2 Massey Ferguson tractors we use for beach maintenance with 2 John Deere tractors equipped with loaders. Also in this, we're buying 2 additional John Deere gators for use on the beach. As part of this purchase, we are trading in the 2 Massey Ferguson tractors. The purchase is through a Sourcewell contract with a 24% discount on the tractors and a 14% discount on the gators. The trade-in value is determined by the John Deere dealer, which we felt was a fair market value. In the future, we will try to sell our vehicles through a broker rather than trading them in. I do want to say that these tractors that we currently use are French-made. It's difficult to get parts. So this trade-in to a John Deere tractor is a good move. When they break down, we'll be able to get parts quicker, much cheaper. Overall, I think we'll be saving money in this purchase. But if you have any questions, we have some people from DPW. If you need.
Any comments from the council?
I'm just happy to hear that we're going to be looking for brokers in the future. I know you say this is fair market value. I kind of question that. These are, awful cheap for what we see, what we're giving them, what we're selling them for. But, like you say, moving forward, it's a great idea.
Any comments from the public? Okay.
Okay, item 2 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement for the renovation of the bathrooms at the ice arena with the lowest responsible bidder.
Okay, this resolution is to award a contract for renovation of the bathrooms, as mentioned in the ice arena, to the lowest responsible bidder. The lowest responsible bidder at $195,000 was the lowest of 6 bidders. One of the bathrooms will be made ADA compliant, and the funding will be reimbursed through a DASNY grant, Dormitory Authority of the State of New York. I do have both Joe Brand and Joe Fabrizio here if you have any questions.
Yeah, I think it'd be great if Joe can come up and just give potential timing of this project, because obviously the ice arena could be a sense of revenue for the city. And in order to get that up to par, to be able to host youth tournaments and activities, a teen night, and bring something for the youth, the public restrooms, if some of you have not been in the ice arena, are not up to snuff. And in order to get this done, I would love to get it done as soon as possible. So I'm just asking about the timing, because once this gets done and we can start making those improvements with funds that are already there, I think it could be a revenue driver, and we can have events and bring people into Long Beach. A tournament would bring in hundreds of families to spend money and in our city, in our stores, and in our restaurants.
Yes, thank you. I'm Joe Fabrizio, Commissioner of Public Works. Yeah, Commissioner Brand and I have been working on this probably for the better part of a year. We planned this because I guess the slowest time at the ice arena is essentially April, May, and June, and that's when we plan on doing this project. I think he has one big event scheduled April 6th. There's a giant tournament there. So our plan was
The Garen Hagen.
yes.
Garen Hagen
G2H Foundation FDNY game.
Thank you. So our plan was to hopefully commence work, award it tonight, hopefully, and then commence work shortly thereafter, and then be finished. Probably, I think we had a 90 to 120 day time in the contract, and also parallel with that, and it's going to be on a resolution further on tonight. We actually have we've done a lot of work at the ice arena. So we just completed the roof at the ice arena, and it was $800,000 budgeted. We came in at $687,000, so we were $113,000 under budget. So we're transferring the money into another capital line so we could actually paint the interior of the ice arena. So we're putting out a bid for that. So we're hoping in that same time period, probably in June. Not only are we going to rehabilitate the two bathrooms on the main floor and the two bathrooms on the second floor, but we're actually going to paint the interior of the facility as well.
Is it true it's the original coat of paint?
I think so. I don't know. Yeah, I think Joe could speak to
I
that.
played hockey there in 1974, Mike. I resemble that remark.
And the other good news is that, as Dan mentioned, there's a grant for $500,000 from the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York. So this came in at $195,000. So we have an additional $305,000. We've spoken to DASNY, and they've indicated that we could potentially use the money, the other $300,000, to do other improvements there. So Joe and I and we're going to meet in the coming week or so, and we're going to try to figure out other projects we can do with that additional $300,000. And again, we have the money, the working capital, in the budget for this work. So it's pretty much positive, I think, all the way around.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Joe, this vendor, to my knowledge, hasn't done work for the city before.
Correct.
Have they done work for other municipalities?
My office checked their references, and their references were satisfactory. So we're going to give them a shot. I mean, it was a low bid. I was concerned. But quite honestly, the 6 bidders, if you look at them, I didn't really hear, I never heard of any of them. so they were all unique to me personally. And we checked the references, and they were good.
Okay. And I guess kind of parallel to this, but to follow up a little bit on Councilman Reinhardt's comment, the last few years, we've invested huge sums of money into the ice arena. At what point are we going to see a plan to monetize that facility? And that's probably not for you.
That's not for me,
probably-
yeah.
I think that's on us.
Yeah.
I think we need to come up with the plan. That's when we were speaking about, all of us speaking about action items and things we want to do pretty immediate. I think the ice rink is top of that list on top of some other things we will speak about. Yeah, so we should, that's something we'll all speak about. And I know Mike and I have spoken extensively about it. I know Mike has a lot of vision for the ice arenas. I have some revenue ideas, and we'll share that internally, all of us, and then get back to that,
But-
back here. But I agree. We should
Agree.
do that right
Action
away.
plan.
Yeah.
We need to put,
We
an
need a
action
plan.
list. And we all have a few ideas of what we want to do. I know me and Roy were kicking the bucket Friday night. So we all have a bunch of things that. Is that what you call it? Kicking the bucket. We were rapping. We were spitting. We were talking about different things we want to do, but ice arena should be right up there. So we keep doing these Band-Aids, and we get a grant, and it doesn't do anything to give it sustainability and make money at the same time. So, yeah.
Okay.
Joe, I have something with this. With these bidders for the paint, do we ever then see what the CSEA guys will do it for? So we can give them work and save money at the same time?
Oh, absolutely. No, I mean, they always have first dibs
Yeah,
on
no,
the
I
job.
just
No,
wanted to
they
back.
do excellent work,
Yeah.
quality work. I mean, I can name a half a dozen
No, I'm not
projects.
doubting that. I just want to know if we give it out, none of these vendors, nobody heard them,
It's-
of them. If we get a price from the CSEA and we can stay on the budget and
I
give
mean,
them-
in this
give them
case,
a
we
few
didn't,
bucks.
time frame wise.
Yeah.
And we really, it's a very narrow time frame. You're talking April to June, July.
Got it.
and I have 100% faith that we can do things like this. And
Yeah.
but in this case, I think it's just due to the time constraints. Remember, it's also our summer season.
Yeah, got it.
All our carpenters,
Busy.
they work in beach maintenance. So, oh yeah, you could touch on that too.
And that time frame that Joe's suggesting there isn't really April, May, and June in terms of a paint job. Just so we can quell any rumors that get started. In order for us to paint the interior of the building, we have to melt the ice. So that process, melting it down, painting the interior, and then getting the ice surface put back down, the time frame for that is probably going to be somewhere right in that month of June. It's traditionally the slowest month we have between school ending, Little League, lacrosse, and everybody doing other activities. So in order for us to accomplish, I call it that feat in a period of time between
Yeah.
Memorial Day and July 4th, where we can now open back up in July and have our summer hockey camps, our summer men's league and youth programs going on. To your point, Mike, about the revenue, we can make the place busy in July and August. We have to get the work done. That, and the painting in particular, is a real small window in June. The bathrooms, we have alternate plans between porta-johns, staggering the work between the upstairs bathrooms and the downstairs bathrooms so that the facility can be open while the work is going on. But the paint job's going to be probably a very tricky scheduling event, and we got to make it happen in June.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, and I just did want to add that, again, it's the beach maintenance. They're not just beach maintenance. They take care of the buildings. And it's really their busiest time of the year. That's probably when they would kill me if I suggested doing a project in April, May, June, because that's when they're prepping, for the beach. So they try to schedule a lot of their rehabilitation projects in the fall and the spring and the winter, quite honestly.
Okay.
And if you want to, any of the bathrooms in this building, they've rehabbed all of them. They really do spectacular work.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Before we move on, just one more. Joe, since some of this is the original paint from the building, has there been any testing done to see if there's any lead paint in there?
There wasn't, but we're not removing any paint. We're just doing clean prime paint. That's what the spec says. And most of the walls, I mean, I was over there, they're all, I don't think there's any removal involved. It's just clean prime paint.
There's no peeling paint in there?
I don't recall. I saw the,
is. I was
is there
there
some,
Saturday.
is there
Yeah,
some
I
prime?
thought there was.
I was looking at,
The back metal corrugated.
was it on the back? I saw the north side, the east and the west, and they all look pretty pristine, like the masonry and the steel on the
I
one
just saw the
side.
metal looked like it had some peeling. The metal where the paint was.
So that's
tan
something we'd
paint.
have to do some,
Yeah.
we would have to test to make sure, to see
Yeah,
what,
that would be
ascertain
an
what it is.
Unpleasant surprise to
Again,
find out.
that's not the subject. We're actually preparing a bid for that. That's going to go out in the next 3 or 4 weeks. So that will be a component of that exercise, not the exercise we're talking about tonight.
Okay.
Okay? But that's good. That's a good point.
Any comments from the public? Yes. All right. How are you, James? Good.
Commissioner. James Hodge, 95 East Fulton Street, again from all over our city.
Is that new? Is that copyrighted?
Yeah, I just, okay. So Black Keith Road to Nevada, Maple, our whole city, Bay to the ocean. I just wanted to say that, I heard you speaking about CSEA, and when it comes to restrooms or anything, having the pleasure of working here in the city of Long Beach for over 20 years, working with CSEA in different capacities. The time frame, yes, is something, but CSEA workers can build a house, a building. It is some of the best workers you will find in this country. So I know that Joe was saying the same thing about them, and also both of the Joes, but again, CSEA workers, when it was a question if they can perform that work, they can perform just about anything, and I've seen them do it. I've been a part of helping to break up the restroom floors, the concrete on the beach when they were breaking those up and just working in 3 different departments in the city of Long Beach. So I just wanted to say that as you do a timeline on different projects in the city of Long Beach, I don't know any department's schedule. I don't know when you need it done by, and I do know you send things out for bid. When we redid the animal shelter, that was all CSEA workers that came in to help me transform that. And I've seen them transform the inside of the MLK. I've seen them transform many things in this whole city. The sanitation department, the highway department, those were all, the beach maintenance department, those are all CSEA workers. Some of them may have their own contracts. They are some of the best workers you will find in the country. I know it, and I'm not just saying it because I'm a former CSEA worker. I am saying it because I'm a former CSEA worker, but I saw their work. And so, again, the time frame that you said was too close, and I don't know the work schedule they have right now, but I just stood up to say, since there was a question, if they can, they're well qualified to do almost anything that this city would require. So thank you.
Thank you, James. Any other comments? All right, we'll move forward.
Okay, item 3 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to renew the enterprise resource planning agreement for the city's Munis system. And I believe for housekeeping, we have a motion on this item.
Yes, we did. We motioned to table this.
Motion. No.
Not this one?
No. This is to make the correction for, to remove the acting city manager, to
sorry.
make it city manager.
Looking at the wrong one. Change it from acting to city manager.
In the resolve clause.
Well, mine says city manager, that's the thing.
Okay, so it's a motion to remove the acting word from in front of city manager in the resolve clause. Do I have a second?
Second.
Voting, Councilmember Bendo.
Yes.
Councilmember Lester.
Yes.
Councilmember Reinhardt.
Yes.
Vice President Fiamora.
Yes.
President Finn.
Yes.
Okay, continue.
All right. So this resolution is to renew the software maintenance contract with Munis, a system of Tyler Technologies. Applications such as our grant accounting and HR management are provided through Munis. This is just a maintenance contract that we need to move forward with. I think it expires. I'm not sure of the date. But Ina is here if you need to check with her, and so is Al, I believe.
Any comments from the council?
Just one for Ina. And Ina, you don't have to come up. You could just shake your head. This fee now includes all the modules now that we will be using? It's inclusive of all the modules we use? Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
And Ina, going along with that question, is this the only type of software that you can use? So there are others? Okay, I guess my concern is this, when the entire system is working off a proprietary bit of software, and basically our contract doesn't, they get to raise it whatever they need to. It puts us in a kind of hostage position. And I'm wondering, if on your part you can move to other software.
Yeah.
You what? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
So I think you should come up for this. Al, you may want to come up as well, because I think in order to change softwares, you'd have to rebuild the baseline functioning of the software, right? Or to reprogram it for a new system technology. But I'm not positive about that, but you could both speak to that.
So Munis is an enterprise resource management system, and yes, we manage all of our city back office operations using Munis, payroll, accounting, billing, accounts payable, purchasing. It's all in Munis, and we're actually using the cloud for storing now the backup documentation for all this transactions that are recorded in Munis. You are questioning the fact, like, can we move to a different system? Yes, but it would be very pricey to switch to another system would cost us money in implementation, probably millions of dollars. Between the implementation and the purchase of a system like PeopleSoft, Oracle, there are other, Munis definitely has competition on the market, but we would be in the same position after the switch, we'd be in the same position with PeopleSoft where they would dictate the terms of the contract, yes.
But basically, accounting software, you say it would cost millions of dollars to switch? For accounting
and
software?
hours and a lot of effort in implementation, yes.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So aside from the software purchase, Al, can you talk a little bit about the software development that's involved in setting up these systems?
Well, this system's actually in production for the city for decades. I believe about 30 years, 25, 30 years. So that investment has been encumbered a very long time ago. So this is really just for licensing and probably just maintenance.
But we don't, each year they set the price and we have to go along with it, correct?
Does any negotiation?
I think it's a one-year contract.
Very limited because again, it's not like they know and we know that we cannot just switch like to a different. If you have a consultant that you can easily switch from one to another. I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear me well. Yeah, if for other services, you probably can switch from one firm to another pretty easily with something like that. Your initial investment would be very pricey, and the reason to switch would not be just the increase in cost, but if we were not happy with the product. However, we're very happy with Munis as is, so we're staying with them. But if they wouldn't be delivering, and their increases, by the way, are not unreasonable. You see the large increase from last year to this year, and majority of it is attributable to the new modules that we're implementing. And for all the other line items, for the existing ones, the increases are probably from 3 to 4%, which is in line with inflation.
But, you know, from what you're saying, if they came back and said, next year it's 10%, or next year it's 25%, or next year it's 50% higher, we have no choice, do we?
Hypothetically, yes, but they're in the state contract as well. So the prices that you see, they're the state prices, they're the state contract prices. So there would be a revolt, and not just the city, but many governments would switch to a different.
No, they can't. You just said it would cost millions.
Well,
so they couldn't.
But at some point,
Listen.
there is at some point,
Yeah.
there is an increase that would not
Yeah.
be considered reasonable. And
I just don't like the idea of being hostage to one particular maker on anything. So that's why I asked the questions.
okay.
Any other comments from the public?
Thank you both.
Okay, thank you.
guys.
Thank you very much.
Okay, item 4 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to merge the Youth and Family Services Department into the Recreation Department and authorizing the city controller to transfer funds for the 23-24 fiscal year to effectuate such said merger.
So this resolution is to combine the Youth and Family Services Department into the Recreation Department. This is an effort to streamline and more efficiently function, as some of the programming and activities that were provided by the Youth and Family Services can be combined into the Recreation Department. It will help lead to more efficient oversight and management of the group. I think we used to have more service that were provided by Youth and Family Services, such as a daycare center, which no longer are operational. I think this will just be a benefit to the city overall, and making sure that people are properly utilized and that management works well. If you have any questions, I do have Joe Brand here, who's been involved, and as well as a deputy city manager.
And still a good hockey player. He did good on Saturday. For those who don't know, there's a charity coming up, G2H, and Joe played in the Long Beach. What's the senior team? Both the Guardians, right? Golden Guardians. And you did great.
Okay. That's your comment, right?
That's my comment.
Can I, yes,
I figured you'd have one.
Are you going to
Yeah.
tell me he's a good hockey player?
am I what?
Is your comment going to be he's a good hockey player?
No.
Okay.
I've never seen him play hockey.
How about
But-
water polo?
I've never seen him play water polo either, but you're a good one. Okay, Joe, just the fiscal impact of that.
In terms of the fiscal impact on the budget,
Yeah.
Ina and I will, tomorrow will, well, with the passing of it today, we'll go through tomorrow. We'll merge the budget from youth and family into recreation.
Just will it save us money or cost us money,
Oh,
this merger?
It's not going to cost us any
So,
money.
so
Okay,
it
that's
should
no,
be,
no,
it should be a
no.
net even, we're just moving the resources across the board to the other side.
Right, there's 4 full-time employees and
three
three
part-time.
part-time employees that, like anything else, given the proximity of where Youth and Family Services operates out of, and the services provided, I think it's in all of our best interest to have them, now reporting to me and my staff, or our staff. We've got the full support of the union. We went over and spoke with the employees the other day. But like anything else, we're going to look at what's going on there and try and figure out ways to improve and streamline, and hopefully at the end of it, maybe it'll even save us a few dollars.
So Roy, if I could add to that,
Yeah.
I think the idea here is to, in our effort to streamline, we're trying to make sure that we're not laying off people. So our goal was to keep these people employed, move them over to recreation, where not only can they continue to do what they were doing on youth and family services, but they could also help Joe in the recreation center provide more services in his area. With that, we could look at the budget for the upcoming year and see whether, we still need the same amount of part-time employees, but the idea is to make sure that we function more efficiently overall. And I'm trying to develop a new organization chart with both Phil and Joe, and try to figure out what we can do to really provide either more services with the same amount of staff, or less, the same amount of services with possibly less part-time help. So we are expecting to save money in this, but at the very least, we won't lose money.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments on the council? Any other comment from the public? Yes.
Eileen Hessian, Long Beach. I just want to be assured, as a member of the senior board, senior advisory board, that we will continue to get at least the money that we have now, because we are always asking for more. And when we were involved several years ago with Youth and Family Services, they really got the lion's share of the money. Just asking for money, okay? So please guarantee us. Thank you.
Dan, would this affect their money at all?
This move won't affect their money, but I don't want to speak to assurances or anything until we get the budget done. So I have to be honest.
But nothing in here affects-
Nothing with this move should effectuate any change to the
Okay.
funding for senior services.
Thank you for that comment. Any additional comments from the public? Okay, let's move on.
Item 5 is resolution authorizing transfer of funds for the 23-24 fiscal year.
So this resolution, a lot of the conversations already happened on this one. This provides for a transfer of funding for the ice arena, from the ice arena roof project into an account for painting the ice arena. We had borrowed $800,000 for the ice arena roof and completed the project under budget at $687,000. Remaining $113,000 qualifies under the bonding for being used for painting the ice arena. So this is just a request to move the funding from one line to another to fund the ice arena painting.
Just when I read it, and I know I don't have my glasses on right now, but it says bonds, which authorize, I'm still young.
I just made some mistakes.
Which authorize the issuance of bonds in the amount of, and I'm not sure what that amount is, because if
So-
it's 10,000 or if it's 10 million, there seems like a zero missing at the end.
There's an error there. I believe it's 10
It's
million.
only a zero, 10
140.
million.
Yeah, we'll fix that number, but the bond included $800,000 for the ice arena roof. The real key of this is the $800,000 for the ice arena roof was underspent on the
If it's
ice
10
arena.
million, we can amend it, right?
The question
We can
is-
amend it, we could fix the typo.
That's the question. Do we
That's-
need to amend it, is the question? Or is it,
It's in the whereas, it's a scrivener's error, we can fix it later.
okay,
It's not in the resolve clause.
okay.
Any other comments from the council?
No.
Comments from the public? Ron?
Didn't catch that.
Evening, council, councilor, city manager. At this time with the new roof, I'm maybe, look into solar on the top of that roof to do the whole wreck. You're talking, what are we spending electric there? $250,000, right? At least.
Yeah, it's up there.
So, I mean, just saying, it's a good idea, maybe look for New York State, you know what I mean? Get that roof, brand new roof, put it up there, we're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
I agree. Thank you, Ron. Any other comments? Okay, move forward.
Item 6 is also a resolution authorizing transfer of funds for the 23-24 fiscal year.
So this resolution is to fund another grant employee. As I mentioned in a previous meeting, I believe that increased grant staffing will result in increased grant awards. And I believe this money will pay for itself over time. So this is just moving money for a part-time employee up to $35,000 a year from contingency into the economic development temporary salaries.
Comments from the council? Comments from the public? Thank you. Move forward.
Item 7 is also a resolution authorizing transfer of funds for the 23-24 fiscal year.
So this funding transfer is a rare one. It's a request to make a fund transfer to cover a leave balance request that someone made that was going through some trying times at home, some personal issues that she requested that some of her leave be bought out. So this payment will be used to pay off some of her accrued time. This will remove that liability of accrued time from our balance sheets, but we'll end up with a payment to in excess of what we expected this year of $6,801.
Comments from the council? Comments from the public? I'll move forward.
Items 8 and 9 have been removed from the calendar. Item 10 is a resolution authorizing publication for hearing of a local law amending the charter of the City of Long Beach regarding miscellaneous provisions. This item is for publication only. A hearing will be held March 19th at 7 p.m. Item 11 is a resolution authorizing publication for hearing of an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances of the City of Long Beach regarding various boards and commissions. This item is for publication only. A hearing will be held March 19th at 7 p.m. Item 12 is a resolution authorizing publication for hearing of an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances of the City of Long Beach regarding Appendix A zoning. This item is for publication only. A hearing will be held March 19th at 7 p.m. Item 13 is approval of minutes from prior meeting of February 20th. Do I have a motion?
I do.
Everybody? Nobody's happy?
Second?
I do.
Voting, Councilmember Bendo.
Yes.
Councilmember Lester.
Yes.
Councilmember Reinhardt.
Yes.
Vice President Fiamara.
Yes.
President Finn.
Yes?
Okay, on to the voting. So item 1 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to purchase 2 John Deere tractors, 2 John Deere loaders, and 2 John Deere gators under Sourcewell contracts. Would you just move the adoption of this item?
I will. Sorry, John.
Go ahead.
I will.
Second?
I will.
Voting, Councilmember Bendo.
Yes.
Councilmember Lester.
Yes.
Councilmember Reinhardt.
Yes.
Vice President Fiamara.
Yes.
President Finn.
Yes?
Item 2 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement for the renovation of the bathrooms at the ice arena with the lowest responsible bidder. Who introduce and move the adoption of this item?
I will.
Second?
I do.
Voting, Councilmember Bendo.
Yes.
Councilmember Lester.
Yes.
Councilmember Reinhardt.
Yes, and I look forward to putting together an action plan so we can create revenue at that rink from these improvements.
Amen.
Vice President Fiamora.
Yes.
President Finn.
Yes.
Item 3 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to renew the enterprise resource planning agreement for the city's Munis system. Who introduced and move the adoption of this item as amended?
I will.
Second?
Second.
Voting, Councilmember Bendo.
Yes.
Councilmember Lester.
Reluctantly, yes.
Councilmember Reinhardt.
Yes.
Vice President Fiamora.
Yes.
President Finn.
Yes.
Item 4 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to merge the Youth and Family Services Department into the Recreation Department and authorizing the city controller to transfer funds for the 23-24 fiscal year to effectuate said merger. Who introduce and move the adoption of this item?
I will.
Second?
Second.
Voting, Councilmember Bendo.
Yes.
Councilmember Lester.
Yes.
Councilmember Reinhardt.
Yes.
Vice President Fiamora.
Yes.
President Finn.
Yes.
Item 5 is a resolution authorizing transfer of funds for the 23-24 fiscal year. Who introduce and move the adoption of this item?
I will.
Second?
I will.
Voting, Councilmember Bendo.
Yes.
Councilmember Lester.
Yes.
Councilmember Reinhardt.
Yes.
Vice President Fiamora.
Yes.
President Finn.
Yes.
Item 6 is a resolution authorizing transfer of funds for the 23-24 fiscal year. Would you just move the adoption of this item?
I will.
Second?
I will.
Voting, Councilmember Bendo.
Yes.
Councilmember Lester.
Yes.
Councilmember Reinhardt.
Yes.
Vice President Fiamora.
Yes.
President Finn.
Yes.
Item 7 is also a resolution authorizing transfer of funds for the 23-24 fiscal year. Would you just move the adoption of this item?
I will.
Second?
I will.
Voting, Councilmember Bendo.
Yes.
Councilmember Lester.
Yes.
Councilmember Reinhardt.
Yes.
Vice President Fiamora.
Yes.
President Finn.
Yes.
Item 10 is a resolution authorizing publication for hearing of a local law amending the charter of the City of Long Beach regarding miscellaneous provisions. Who would introduce and move the adoption of this item?
I will.
Second?
I will.
Voting, Councilmember Bendo.
Yes.
Councilmember Lester.
Yes.
Councilmember Reinhardt.
Yes.
Vice President Fiamora.
Yes.
President Finn.
Yes.
Item 11 is a resolution authorizing publication for hearing of an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances of the City of Long Beach regarding various boards and commissions. Who would introduce and move the adoption of this item?
I will.
Second?
I will.
Voting, Councilmember Bendo.
Yes.
Councilmember Lester.
Yes.
Councilmember Reinhardt.
Yes.
Vice President Fiamora.
Yes.
President Finn.
Yes.
And finally, item 12 is a resolution authorizing publication for hearing of an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances of the City of Long Beach regarding Appendix A zoning. Would you just move the adoption of this item?
I will.
Second?
I will.
Voting, Councilmember Bendo.
Yes.
Councilmember Lester.
Yes.
Councilmember Reinhardt.
Yes.
Vice President Fiamora.
Yes.
President Finn.
Yes.
City Manager's monthly personnel report has been filed by the City Clerk. Who will make a motion to close the meeting?
I will.
Second?
I will.
Voting, Councilmember Bendo.
Yes.
Councilmember Lester.
Yes.
Councilmember Reinhardt.
Yes.
Vice President Fiamora.
Yes.
President Finn.
Yes. Thank you. Tim Kramer?
Hi, Tim Kramer, 361 East Broadway. Mr. Cohen, how long have you been working for the city?
Say that again?
How long has Mr. Cohen been working for the city?
I believe my first day was April 24th.
So 11 months roughly? Somewhere in that neighborhood?
A little more than 10 months.
So regarding the boot and tow issue, was the city, were we served with a class action lawsuit with that yet, or is that?
Yes, we were.
Okay. Whose idea was it? Whose idea was this boot and tow?
I don't know.
Was it the previous council?
I believe it was the previous police commissioner.
The previous police commissioner, Mr. Walsh, who's no longer here, right? Mr. Cohen, so when a federal judge issued, I want to say issued, that's not the right word, but said this was unconstitutional, did you try to revise that adopted law from Hempstead? Did you try to revise that at all after it was deemed unconstitutional by a federal judge?
So the only thing I'll say is in December, the city council adopted a new boot and tow law.
So we adopted this law from Hempstead. A federal judge deemed it unconstitutional, and then we said, instead of, the logical thing at that point would say, you know what, let's scrap this thing completely, but we said, we're going to revise it and try and make it work, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. So I have some issues here. So this, quite honestly, is going down the same rabbit hole as the Haberman issue, okay? So we've been filed with a class action. This could take 2 years, who knows how long it's going to take. In 2 years, there's going to be a lot of new faces up here, right?
I hope not.
Well, we'll see. I mean, there'll be a few new ones, right? We know that.
Don't get what?
A few new faces in 2 years, right? So then it becomes, there's no one held responsible for these big boy decisions that, we could be talking hundreds of millions of dollars in a class action lawsuit. And another problem I have is we have people making decisions for this city that are not residents of this town, and they don't have any skin in the game. And I quite honestly, I know we had this issue many times in the past where whether you should be a resident of the town to work in certain positions or not, I believe that they should, specifically for this reason. And quite honestly, I would take it a step further and say that you should be required to be a homeowner, so the skin of the game. And if this class action goes through, it's going to sink the city. And no offense, Mr. Cohen, I'm sure you're a great guy to hang out with and everything else. If we lose, you're going to go out about your merry life, and there's no repercussions. I mean, it's crazy that we never should have pursued it after it was deemed not illegal. It was deemed unconstitutional. And right. It was a suicide mission. Okay. That's my opinion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Christina Kramer.
It's a rare circumstance when I am the more pleasant Kramer. So thank you, Tim. I just want to thank you for your permission to educate the community on the Rapid Act and some turbine stuff. I just want to remind everybody that Patricia Canzaneri, Fitzpatrick, Ari Brown, possibly Anthony D'Esposito, Patrick Mullaney, and any of you are welcome to speak. And I want to just cordially invite you, John Bendo, to speak. We really appreciate what you said at the New York State Public Service Commission, and you really know your stuff, and we would appreciate it if you would show up as well to speak if you are available.
Okay, unfortunately, I'll be in Florida.
What about the 24th? We might have a rain date.
I think I'm here on.
Well, it's a possibility. If it's
So if you want to do a rain dance and.
well, we might not have a choice. But if you're available, we'd love to have you, and we would appreciate it if you would speak. Let's see. Yeah, you understood the traffic issues and the beach issues, and Mr. Cohen, thank you very much for that kick-ass letter. We appreciate that you wrote that. It was powerful and direct, and we thank you, and we look forward to working with all of you as a team to keep our community safe, and to together we can keep the quality of life we appreciate as Long Islanders and Long Beachers. That's it.
Christine, what time is that on Saturday?
The 10 a.m.
Sunday.
10 a.m.
It's on Sunday.
Yeah, it's on Sunday at 10 a.m., and the rain date is the 24th at 12 p.m. And we'll announce if there's going to be a rain date on Saturday by 12.
Okay.
And you're going to post that?
We're going to post it on the page and make it, like, put it also in the event and harass you guys with it, you know. All right, thanks.
The letter that Christina Kramer is referring to is that Mr. Cohen wrote a letter to the Article 7 in response to an Equinor motion, and it was an excellent letter, but that's what we're used to getting from him.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Wanda Brooks?
Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
I want to talk about Leroy Conyers Park. I use that as a shortcut quite often, 2, 3, 4 times a day. And I don't really understand why the only thing that was done to that park was that it got 2 structures for younger kids, which was needed. But that's absolutely the only thing that was done. And I came up before and I questioned about the entrances, Hudson Street entrance and Fulton Street entrance, that it's in bad condition, and could it be repaired or put down a new one? And since I walk through the park quite often, I'm seeing other things that really need repair. And I can't understand why the Leroy Conyers Park was the only park so far that got only 2 structures and absolutely nothing else done to it. With the rest of the parks are beautiful. I walk past them all the time and they are beautiful. And our park needs, and I say ours because I live on Hudson Street, the ground coverings is terrible. They all need to be repaired. The water fountain, bringing up a little heads up, that all last summer, the water fountain didn't work. A heads up so that it could be repaired for the kids this summer. And I just like y'all to come and just look at it and tell me in the description that was in the community thing, the community letter, how it's saying that enhancing the Leroy Conyers Park. And I want to know, when you look at that park, is that what words come to your mind? Enhance, because it does not come to mind. And I just think it's unfair that nothing else actually was done, not even the repair of the covering on the ground. And a new fence was put up, a new entrance fence was put up on Hudson Street. I guess it was an accident, something, the old one was broken, and they replaced it, but it only opens out. It doesn't open in, which that's required, that it should swing in and swing out. I just, before all the money, the park money gets used up on other parks, is there a possibility?
Wanda, I'll let Joe speak about it, but I'll definitely take a look at it myself with Joe this
Okay.
week.
All right, thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, when we did the we have actually done quite a bit of work at Leroy Conyers Park. Maybe not in the last couple of years, but we replaced those shade shelters that are there. We replaced that big playground unit in the middle. We just put those toddler units in. But I agree. Yeah, we could definitely do more. Okay, and we're actually working on the capital budget now, so we could certainly look at putting additional money in parks in general to rehab that playground. But just to let you know, we not only have we just done that work at Leroy Conyers, we just recently rehabbed Magnolia Playground. We're in the middle of rehabbing Pacific Boulevard Playground, which is going to be done by Memorial Day. And we're actually meeting tomorrow at 12 o'clock with the committee, and you're welcome to be on that for sure, with the committee to talk about Sherman Brown Park. I'm meeting with, I think James is going to be there, Crystal Lake is going to be there, and some other representatives of the community. And of course, you're welcome to discuss that one, because that honestly is, it's arguably much worse than Leroy Conyers. So we were focusing on that one first. So we have like a $650,000 improvement plan for that project first, plan for that park first, and then we would concentrate on Leroy Conyers Park. But I think you'd agree that Sherman Brown Park is definitely worse. So that's the one we're working on that one first. But I welcome you to come to the meeting tomorrow if you'd like.
So you're saying that all the funds that was allocated last year, whatever, to upgrade the parks in the community, all of that's gone now? Or?
Well, right now we have $650,000 that were designated for Sherman Brown Park.
And that's all that's left?
That's what's designated, right. We'd have to allocate more, which actually is good timing, because I'm working on the capital budget now with the council and the city manager, so we can certainly discuss allocating funds for Leroy Conyers for 25, sorry. Okay?
Okay.
Yes.
Please do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Eileen Hessian?
Eileen Hessian, Long Beach. Someone asked me, they know I come up here frequently, and they asked me to mention again, it's been done so many times, bike lanes. She was speaking specifically about in the West Home area, like Olive Street and Walnut. And it is true, I drive those streets very often, and the kids on their bikes are riding against traffic. They're looking at their cell phones. They have no hands on the handlebars. The other evening, it wasn't quite dark yet, but almost, there were like 5 maybe middle school kids playing chicken with the cars. It really, we're going to have a tragedy one day. So, I mean, I even said to her, where are you going to put the bike lanes? But actually, you could put bike lanes on. I don't know, something should be done. And I also think it's not up to you, but the schools should be doing something to instruct the kids. They should be wearing helmets. They should be driving with the traffic. They should be stopping, the whole bit. So that's all. I've done my job. Thank you.
Agree, and parents.
I couldn't agree.
Parents, right.
I couldn't agree more. I got hit by a car on Walnut in Washington about 7 years ago. I lost.
Eileen, we've looked at that for years, and Walnut and, Olive definitely have enough room for a bike lane, because they're the same width as Beach, and Beach has 4 lanes, and they only have 3 lanes. The problem is a lot of times people don't want bike lanes on their streets, which is ridiculous. But, we've looked.
The problem with putting a bike lane, let's say on Olive, you're talking about, or
It's
on
one way.
Walnut, is you got all the cars parked there, and where are you going to put the lane?
You move the cars out, like they do in New York City.
I think we'll have more problems doing that.
Well, you know what?
Have you ridden a bike in New York City?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But there are ways to address it, and we haven't done anything
I agree,
yet.
but I've been thinking about bike lanes on Olive.
I get asked it all the time. I mean, the way people go through the stop signs too is,
right.
To Eileen's point, I see both sides of it. You have people who want to drive their bike, lawfully, and then I see a lot of these kids, they're doing, they have these bikes now that only made for doing wheelies, and they're doing wheelies coming at you, you know, you're like,
You know, Chris,
they're not worried about it.
recently I was in Amsterdam, and you would not find one single person riding the wrong way.
Yeah.
And they have millions of bikes there.
Yeah.
It's absolutely unbelievable. And Eileen, the schools did try. They even, you know, at one point, I worked with Denise Ford, and we were giving away helmets. It was actually Denise's project. And kids just don't want to wear helmets. And believe me, I had the same problem with my kids. You know, the idea of wearing a helmet is just foreign to them. But, you know, in certain places, I'm not as concerned about the helmets as I am concerned about the nighttime stuff. And in certain places, lights are mandated. Actually, lights are mandated anyway, but in certain places, they're enforced. And after a while, when kids get their bikes confiscated for not having lights, they learn to have lights. And that's, you know, it's unbelievable, but kids go around dressed in black, riding their bikes with no lights, no reflectors, nothing. You know, and things happen. And it is tough to educate them. Sometimes enforcement's the only way to do it.
Ron Paganini, dressed in black.
Has he got a reflector on?
Are you riding a bike on? I don't believe that.
They couldn't catch it. Greetings again, Ron Paganini. I had a couple of questions the last meeting. One was on the elusive blue bus that was missing. The the other one was on the bathroom, the public bathroom in the rec. And the, what was the other one? Jesus Christ.
The other was on the exhaust system.
Oh, and the exhaust system, yeah, of the city garage. So, do we have answers?
Do you want me to re-answer what we spoke about earlier today, or?
Yeah, tell the people. Yeah,
Okay,
I mean, yeah.
So the bus has been out of service since COVID. Originally, it went in for parts, for electrical parts. During that time, we couldn't get other parts from the manufacturer because of the COVID supply chain issues. So we started to cannibalize that bus. We took a lot of parts off of that to rebuild the other buses. Those parts have been replaced. We expect to have this back in, I believe, 2 weeks, on the 15th. As far as the tailpipe system, the main exhaust system for the garage works. It's just the tailpipe system that was out. That failed on September 29th and 23 during a rain event flooding. We did apply to FEMA for funds to do that. It's not critical. It's not unsafe without that exhaust system. It's only an exhaust for the. It's only an exhaust system that ties to the bus exhaust. We do have that funding. It looks like it's coming in, and we will get that repaired. So that's it. I think I also gave you the overtime numbers for 23. I think you also asked for that.
Right, and the bathroom and the rec, that thing's been down for months.
Was on the agenda tonight to redo the bathrooms. Oh, in the rec, or you're talking
The rec, no, the recreation bathroom.
I do not have an answer for you on that one. I know I checked on it, but I just don't remember.
Yeah, the purchase order for the hand blower, you know, instead of
Oh,
these
the
paper
hand blower,
towels.
sorry. The hand blower, I know we had talked to building maintenance about getting another hand blower. I think we purchased one, and we are checking to see if we have one already in stock to install. Joe, if you want to answer that one as well, because we talked
wound
about
up ordering 2 new ones. They should be here by the end of the week. Electrician measured what he needs to do. There's a couple of, because they are changing rooms and there's open showers in the room, they require GFI and some other safety outlets and stuff. Those have been ordered. We should have them taken care of probably within the next week or two.
Joe?
Yeah, sorry about that, Ron. I had it checked on it. I just didn't write it down for
Yeah,
tonight.
that's an important bathroom, you know, because like I said, we work out. I'm there almost every day. You have a lot of seniors there. To go through that wet locker room, especially by the steam room, you're going down.
Mhm.
I mean, I got to shuffle, you know, to get in there. So it's really, you don't want a lawsuit. And you got people coming from the outside, from the pier, using it. So it's an important bathroom.
Agree.
All right, thank you for everything.
Joe, and Ron, while you're talking about the rec, people have been talking about that a whole lot of our treadmills are out of service.
I finally got a service guy in yesterday, who's just a service guy. He's not a sales guy.
Right.
Which was a larger part of the problem. They come in and just tell you, you need new machines, and we don't have $150,000 in our operating budget to purchase new machines. So had a service company in, did a complete evaluation of the whole room. He'll give us a price quote, but seemed like a very knowledgeable guy, and he's going to get the work done right away. So
Can you let us know?
Absolutely.
What, because believe me,
the bane
every
of my
day I'm
existence
hearing
right
about
now,
it.
Ray. You have Roy. You have no idea. I
Yeah.
get it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Sam Pinto.
Good evening, Sam Pinto, Long Beach firefighters. I appreciate being put up after Ron. It's always a nice 1-2 punch. I apologize for being tardy for the meeting tonight. I was busy doing dad stuff, but I did hear that you did announce the hiring of an additional firefighter from yesterday, and I guess the 3 recruits going to the Career Academy. I just want to express our appreciation on behalf of the union for the additional focus that the council and the administration are putting into hiring and correcting that. Essentially, the overtime issue based on low staff, need to increase the workforce. So I just want to say thank you. Also, just to bring up the point, I'm not sure if you're all aware, obviously I live it day to day. The 3 recruits that are going to the Fire Academy starting today, they started alongside other major cities like White Plains, New Rochelle, Yonkers, other nice communities in Westchester, that they're Westchester Career Fire Academy. It's a 20-week rigorous academy. It's not a few hours here, a few hours there. It's 10-hour days. It's hard. It's like a boot camp environment. When they come out of it, they come highly certified, highly trained. They have national certifications that follow all hazards, whether it's firefighting or rescue or hazardous materials. We already have medical certifications to become a career firefighter. Part of the civil service basis is to have your EMT. So that's covered already. And I just wanted to make sure you guys are aware of the details and the extreme quality of the training that you guys are investing in the workforce, and we do appreciate that. 2 of the 3 guys who got hired, both were FDNY EMTs. They made a career change. They were pursuing to become city firefighters as being city EMTs. They left because they got an opportunity in their hometown. Similarly, like I did, I was an FDNY EMT, and I crossed over to become a Long Beach firefighter based on civil service. 2 of those individuals in the academy did it. The 3rd guy was, he's an Air Force veteran, and he worked for the TSA as a bomb specialist. So he left that career to join to work and serve the community. So they're all invested, and they're in the academy for the next 20 weeks. We appreciate it, and I just wanted to give that expression on behalf of the workforce. Thank you.
Question, Sam. Are they, when they come out, will they have a paramedic certification?
No, that's a separate training.
That's separate.
So yeah.
And how long will it take us to get?
So paramedic certification varies. It could be a full-time commitment. There's 3 individuals right now who are career firefighters who are finishing a 10-month paramedic program at Stony Brook University. They're going to be finished come, I think, the end of May, maybe. So they're almost there. So you're going to have 3 more certified paramedics. So everyone in the workforce at that point, with the exception of the 3 that are in the fire academy, are all going to be advanced life support providers. Paramedics are critical cares. They're grandfathered in. They can all do IVs. They can all do intubation. They can all give narcotics. They can all give all the stuff you need to do in the first 5 minutes of a life and death emergency. But that is a separate training. And the city and the union have worked together to try to make it as efficient as possible to get that training at a lower cost for the city and to provide it for the residents.
If I could just add to that, we're trying to make an agreement with Stony Brook University that their practical is done here in Long Beach, so that we get the services here rather than another community, and we get the benefit of that practical experience, and they get the experience to become paramedics here in Long Beach.
Just to build on that, one of the things that they noticed is the capstone participation part of their class. This is when they're actually doing leadership and being by themselves, doing the skills. What happened was that Long Beach is actually busier than all these places that they were doing their regular rotations. So they were getting a better experience in Long Beach, and the city and Stony Brook are now collaborating to work together to make the workforce preceptors so now we can do it locally, get the experience, get the training, and do it at a local environment, which is beneficial to everybody.
So right now, on the paramedic side, not being firefighters, just paramedics, we only have one? Or do we not even have?
Right now, there's no single role paramedics employed
No.
by the city.
Okay.
But there are many certified paramedics who are cross-trained
Who are
firefighters.
firefighters?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
James Hodge.
James Hodge, 95 East Fulton Street. Just wanted to say, I know you guys voted on the community development, I guess, in the hearing. My request is that when you're voting on the budget, because as you guys look at the budget, different things, that has its own money, and it comes from the federal government to the state and then to the county and then to Long Beach. But I request that, that before that hearing, that you try to get it out to all of the nonprofits and community organizations and the residents that a hearing like that is happening, so that you guys can vote based off a budgeted presentation. Because I don't think they said exactly where money was going to go, and people can come in and be a part of it, which is great, but it was no budget presentation on what they actually was going to spend the money on, and I think it was all voted yes, just go through. And I know the city manager will do diligence, and the city council, you guys will look at it, but it should really be presented in front of everybody like most hearings are. All of the information is there. What are you spending that money on? 70% of that money, as I said before, is supposed to go to low to moderate income persons. And I know that I've been working with Crystal Lake on that and many others, Ms. Odom, for many years on community development funds and what it's supposed to be utilized for, because sometimes, like I said last time, we spend it on areas that just touch the low to moderate income areas, but it's not really going to low to moderate income persons or serving them, and we just find ways to be able to spend the money. So I ask that you guys go back to Patty Bourne and say, what is this money actually being spent on? We voted and approved it, but what is this being spent on? And also, did you have a question?
No, I'm going to answer you when you, I have it.
On that, I'm done on community development.
Oh, okay. Dan is our new city manager.
Yes.
Second month in, we're starting his third. He's extremely attentive to the budget. The budget, of course, is any city manager's priority, but he is especially attuned to it and how these things fit into it. And I understand your question, and it seems as if we're voting on this stuff just, oh, yes, 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 but it is discussed, it is investigated, and as you see, there are questions quite often in these conversations.
Thank you. That not necessarily my presentation. Yes, yes, yes. I know Dan is doing a diligent job, and I'm just saying when it came, there was really no detail in the budget that was presented.
Right.
It's not a bashing. I'm just saying
I know.
that I know he's looking at everything and it has to fit in a line, but it just wasn't presented. And I wanted to know, okay, you got $200 and some odd $1,000 more. It's $500,000. Where exactly is that money going? Because actually it's not all distributed out yet, because you did say people can still come and be a part of it and request that. But again, if we work, again, to get the information out, groups can come way before, and then usually in the past, sometimes that night, organizations will be coming to thank you because you guys already approved to put them in the budget before it then goes to the hearing. Like one is coming up in May in the county, and that one was January 24th, and Crystal sent everybody all that information. Another thing is, I'll finish by saying, Wanda Brooks was speaking about the parks, and I would like to thank the city as we ask that everyone get a seat at the table and all communities count. Thank you for bringing different individuals to speak about the parks in North Park. I appreciate that. I appreciate the administration for allowing that to happen through you to the city manager, and even to welcome Wanda Brooks to that meeting. So again, I just wanted to thank you for that. And whenever there's a complaint about something in the park, it should actually be put down to see how long it took to take care of those particular items. I know when I worked in different departments, whether it was animal control, parks and recreation, it was a time length. When was this complaint first lodged? When I worked in the police department, I had to do, every half an hour, every hour. So I'm just saying those things that's in the park would not have to put so much money into it if it was known and fixed prior to months of it, getting worse. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. That's the end of good and welfare.
That's the end, right?
Arrive home safely. Thank you for coming.
Who do you need? Damn, I was hoping you pointed that way.